Welcome to the Girlfriend Club podcast, the most inclusive club in town. We are going to have a fun chat today, and I'm here with some of my best girlfriends. We're about to get real. We're about to chat it up and have a blast. So I can't wait for you to hear it. Hey guys, so I want to introduce you to the girls today on the pod. We have Lauren, we have Carrie, and we have Andrea, some of the best girls.
Hello. Hello.
I'm so excited that you guys are here. It's going to be a fun one today, and I'm so excited that you're here chatting with us. But before we get started, we do this on every one of our podcasts. We want to know what you're obsessed about. This is a segment where you're going to tell the girls out there what you're obsessed with, what you're feeling, what you're into. This can be product, this can be something in pop culture. We just want to know what you're all about. So I'm going to start with Andrea. This is Andrea.
Hello. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I feel really honored and excited. What I'm obsessed with lately is lavender lattes.
Ooh.
It can be like coffee lattes or matcha lattes. I just love to add lavender in it. And another thing is like any eucalyptus scent. So like eucalyptus candles or like oils.
You want to be relaxed.
Like, I know both those scents are very relaxing.
Yeah.
Like a fresh smell. It's
I love it.
Where's your favorite lavender latte?
Just forgot
The place. You just like the good one.
It's in North Park. It's called Love Song.
Love Song.
Yeah. So cute.
Oh, that place is so cute. I love it.
They have like another latte with like a bunch of rosemary and like it has lavender too and mint, and it's like very refreshing.
Ooh.
Nice. I need to try that. Yeah. I need to try that. It seems just very soothing and relaxing.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Very nice. Carrie, what are you obsessed with?
Right now, I'm obsessed with taking my vitamins.
Ooh.
All right, but like not just like my multivitamins. Like I'm like, all right, my hair is feeling dull. Like I'm gonna get a hair vitamin.
Yeah.
Or like my skin's feeling like drab. Like I'm gonna get a skin vitamin, and then like I try it for a while, and I'm like, I don't see a difference. Let me get a new one. But I feel like right now I'm like, I don't know if that's a solve to my problems, but that's what I'm doing.
A wellness queen.
Yes,
I love it. Wow. Yeah, we need to take our vitamins. That's for sure. Good
and I'm like,
reminder.
I want the gummy ones. I want the good ones. I don't want like the giant ones. You know?
Yeah.
There's some from Target. I think it's Ollie.
Yeah. Those ones are good.
So good.
Yeah, I got one for the kids, one for everybody.
Yeah. And after you take your vitamin, you feel like, okay, I'm like responsible.
My hair, like, my hair was better already.
Thing.
Yeah, I was like, take it 2 times.
Yes, I love that. Love that. Lauren?
Okay, so mine's kind of similar. I'm obsessed with magnesium.
Ooh, okay. Tell us more, please.
To be exact, because if you take the wrong one, it could be really bad.
Yeah.
Magnesium glycinate, I'm no doctor, so please don't quote me, but from all the TikToks I've watched and how it makes me feel and all the research I've done, glycinate helps you like just calm your mind.
Yes.
So like once I'm in bed, I could be tired, but I'm just laying there in like existential dread, just thinking about all of the things, and my brain is very loud, and then I can finally fall asleep after like maybe 45 minutes. But when I take magnesium glycinate regularly, you can take it in the morning or night. It's not going to make you drowsy. It's not melatonin. Then it's quiet. Like it's just, things are quiet. I think if you take it in the beginning of the day, it helps you maybe focus a little bit more. Just things kind of just roll off of you more easily. I know it helps with like mood, anxiety symptoms, sleep. It helps with like muscle recovery if you're a workout girly. So I've just, I love it. And I can definitely tell, I don't know if like there's like a scientific, like proof of this, but I can tell on nights where I didn't take it, or if I haven't taken it for a few nights, I'm like, oh yeah.
I can second that. I'm on the magnesium game, and it is good. I take like a powdered drink one. It's like that Moon whatever one. It's probably too expensive. There's probably a cheaper one. But you just like mix it in water, drink it. And to be honest, at first I was like, I don't know if it's actually working or if it's in my mind, but it didn't matter because it helped me sleep. And it does help you relax.
Yeah.
I got my husband on it. Like we're on it. It is good. It is good.
And there's different kinds of magnesium that do different things. Like magnesium like threonate helps with like brain cognition and like memory, and I'm obsessed with all of it. But make sure people just go out and buy like magnesium, but if you buy like citrate,
you're gonna be going to the bathroom.
You'll be in the bathroom. So you gotta be careful with that. Check your dosage and like do your research. But oh man,
I took it during the pandemic because I couldn't sleep, and it definitely helped me.
Yeah.
And then I finished it and never bought it, like any. And then I recently bought it, but it was this powder one that tasted so nasty.
Oh, no.
So I returned it, and I was like, I need to find a better one.
Like, I need a good one.
It was so expensive. Like,
Yeah.
I just do the pills.
Yeah.
Also
Yeah.
because
Don't worry about
like
it.
the rabbit hole I went down was about like vitamins that have like filler in them and vitamins that don't. And like a lot of the ones on like the shelves of the stores have a lot of filler like in them, so they're not like pure.
Yeah.
So
Send them over.
Pure Encapsulations is
When
the
I
brand
think
that I take on Amazon for anyone who wants to know.
And
Sponsor
when I
me.
think about magnesium, I don't think that it like tastes good. Like
I just take
you
the
just
pill.
say
I write down the
magnesium, like,
hatch.
I know it
Yeah.
might taste bad, but
Yeah, I think they have like flavored powdered ones, but I feel like in powders, there's a lot of like wheat or like different filler. So you're not getting like as potent, like you might have to take more.
Yeah.
So I just do the pills, They're kind of big, so
It's a good one though.
yeah.
Lots of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my obsessed might compliment both all of your guys'.
Ooh, okay.
So you can take your magnesium with your latte and and your incense and your vitamins. And so mine it's fall, right? And I am obsessed. There's nothing like watching Gilmore Girls in the fall. I don't know if you guys seen it, but I love that show, especially in the fall. I feel like
It's the
just
scenery
like,
and everything.
It's a small town
Yeah.
vibe, and you're like feeling like all the feels and the pumpkins and pumpkin spice and all the things. I love it. I wasn't a fan at first, and then the pandemic rolled around. I had a friend who was always telling me, "You love Gilmore Girls, you love Gilmore." I'm like, no, it's like the cheesiest intro song. Like,
Yeah,
it's
it
about
is.
a mom and a daughter. Like, I don't know, it's small town. Like, not my vibe at all.
Yeah.
And I would always tell her like, no, like I would make fun of the intro song and all that. And then during the pandemic, I was like, okay, well, what am I gonna watch? And I'm like, okay, well, I'll watch Gilmore Girls. I love it.
It's
so
good.
I really
here
do
you
love
are.
it. Yeah. So now I'm a fan. I wasn't a fan. So I'm just saying, if you're out there and you're like, Gilmore Girls, just don't knock
try
it
it.
till you try
Give
it,
it a
maybe.
try.
Just watch a few episodes
It's an
and you'll
easy
see.
watch.
Yeah, it's fun. It's light.
Yeah.
And she's obsessed with coffee. I'm obsessed with coffee. It's like it's
You're
a whole
a Gilmore
vibe.
girl.
Yes, I am the Gilmore Girl. I love it. So yeah, that's right now. So it's October, and I'm like, yeah, you got to pop on. You always have to have that show where you feel like you can kind of put it on in the background, and I feel like Gilmore Girls is that for me. So
Yeah.
I've been vibing off of that. But yeah,
That's a good one.
I
I'll
have to start
know. Thank you.
I've
thank
never
you.
watched it, but
Yeah.
I've
Yeah,
been
okay, Lauren.
influenced.
Yeah,
To start now.
we'll check
Yeah.
back in with you later and see if you watched
Perfect.
it.
She's like, if you're a true fall fan, you need to watch it. Yeah.
You're watching Gilmore Girls with the blanket
Yeah.
and like your
I'll
magnesium.
send you a snap.
Your magnesium. Yeah.
My magnesium. He's totally zen.
yeah, just like feeling
And
it.
your lavender latte.
Yes.
And your
Okay, I'm gonna
eucalyptus
try
candle.
it. We're gonna make
We
a
gotta do
list.
it
You gotta try them. I'm gonna try all these things. But I am so excited to dive into the topic. We are gonna talk about body image, and I feel like body image is such like it's one of those topics that you almost think about every day. But it's mostly when you think about body image, it's kind of in the negative light a lot of times. And I think about that scene in like Mean Girls where they're like in front of the mirror and they're like, my shoulders are too big, my pores are too big. Like, I feel like we do that with ourselves a lot every single day, like in the mirror. And I want to talk about how girls see themselves, how maybe society portrays women's bodies, and how that might affect our perspective of that. And I just want to dive a little bit deeper into how we see ourselves every day, and how it could be negative, but also how we can turn our perspective into positive and see our bodies in a positive light. Because I love that for us. I love that. I love girls who can be like, I love my body. I love this about my body. And it does take time, and it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of effort. And some days are better than others. And sometimes you're not feeling your body, and sometimes you're not feeling your own skin, and you're just like, what is happening? There's different seasons. So I want to dive into that and talk about that. So the first question we have on the podcast is, when did you first become aware of of the perception of an ideal body? Because there's always like, oh, the ideal body, or this body type is better than one or the other, and it could be positive or negative. When did you first become aware of that ideal body?
I think for me it was middle school.
Middle school.
Yeah, and I think, what is that? Like, what age is
what
that?
age
Like
is that?
13?
Yeah.
something like that, around 13. And I think it's like, you know, around middle school for girls, like you start maybe gaining some of your attributes and things like that, and stuff changes. And for, you know, me specifically, when I was younger, I got maybe some of my attributes early, and I got stretch marks early. And I think, and that time, which is so different from now, it was very like, you had a stretch mark, like how embarrassing, right? Or if somebody saw it, like how embarrassing, or how did you get that? And I think when that kind of happened, it was like, whoa, like hold on a second, I don't want to have this, or I want to hide this, or like don't let anybody see it. But you know, in middle school, you're like changing in the locker rooms, like for PE and stuff like that. And I think that was like that, kind of like that time where we start like noticing things about each other or like about ourselves. But I think it's right around like that middle school time. And I feel like that's early for those kinds of things to happen, but I think it's even now is around that time. But I would say like right around that like preteen, right into teenager time.
Wow.
Yeah. I think I was a little younger. I was probably about 6 or 7. And I think it's more so just because I was diagnosed with like an autoimmune disorder when I was 6 for my thyroid. And so one of the symptoms of that is like weight gain, because my thyroid doesn't function on its own. And so I was in like endocrinologist's office at like 7 years old. And I won't get really too much into that, but basically there was a lot of conversations about like, you're this age and this is what you need to weigh, or this is what little girls your age look like. And here's a chart of like basically what you should look like. And so I think like once I got an idea of just sitting in those office, like that office with my mom, or those doctor's appointments, obviously I didn't understand like the medical jargon of it, but just knowing like, okay, my body's essentially like fighting against itself. And one of the symptoms is the fact that I don't look like everyone in terms of like my body weight or like shape or whatever it may be. And so as I got older, I mean, very much so like in middle school, you know, like when you're starting to change around people, and like, you know, lockers and PE and stuff like that. Like PE was another one of those, like around like fifth grade. It's like, okay, I was athletic as a kid, but now I'm like seeing people's bodies and I'm like, wow, I don't look like that. You know?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. For me, I think I was really young. It was like 5 or 6, because I grew up in a household with 3 older sisters and my mom. So they would always be on diets. And so like growing up and looking into that, and also not also them, but I also remember like whenever we would get together with like my aunts or like my cousins, they would always be talking about diets too. And now that I think about it, thank God that I didn't become obsessed with like trying to like mimic their, because it was an obsession for them. It was like a topic, like they were always on diets or comparing themselves to other people, or like talking about how much weight they'd had to lose. That for me, I just think it only created like a kind of like looking for what I was eating, kind of like
overly aware.
Aware of like, okay, maybe I'm gonna have a salad for dinner. Like
at a young
5-6 year old, like does not have a salad for dinner. Or like try to like mimic what my sister's diet was, kind of, because her diet was always like on the fridge. So I would like look at it and be like, oh, okay, maybe I can like do the same.
I need to do that.
Yeah. So now that I think about it, thank goodness I didn't become obsessed with it, or like make like a bad habit, or start with just like a young eating disorder or something. But just growing up in that atmosphere always like made me aware. And it's up to now still like it's talked a lot, and like honestly, thank goodness it never really affected me or like tried to be the same. But
I feel like growing up, if that's like something you were all constantly looking at, it's you look now at your adult self, right? And you're like, oh, well, those are things I learned. Like maybe it's something like you don't in your core believe, but you're like, oh dang, I picked up on that, like in the household or with my friends or with my family. I think for me, it was in high school, and middle school, I do remember like not being able to shave my legs, and that was an issue because I had like really hairy legs and like so there's like little moments that I remember like my parents wouldn't let me do that, so I was just kind of like the girl with hairy legs. It's fine. It's fine. She's healed. It's fine. Yeah, I'm over that. But PE is an issue. It really is an issue. But anyways, in high school, I clearly remember like, I grew up obviously in the 90s, and I think in that era, it was like the era of the supermodel, right? It was always these like really skinny supermodels, really tall, really like thin, and runway models, and they're beautiful. But growing up in that, I wasn't that. Like I was petite, I was short, and I had hips when I was young. And so, Abercrombie was like the thing, and American Eagle and Hollister, and the girls were wearing the jean mini skirts. They were wearing the low-rise jeans. And I would really try. Like, I remember going to Abercrombie and going to Hollister and being like, they don't fit me. Like, they literally, I would be in the room, in the dressing room, and trying to pull them up over my hips, and they just wouldn't fit. And so not only was it like, oh, my body doesn't fit in this type of clothes, but like I can't in society, I can't be like popular, or I can't be like that trendy girl, like that trendy girl, because I just don't fit in these clothes, and my body doesn't fit these clothes. And so I remember like Abercrombie rolling out like the curvy section. Now they have like the curvy section, and like my inner child was like so healed. I'm like, I literally could shop at Abercrombie if I want to now.
They're so inclusive, and it's like another style.
Well, and completely. I think too, like, I know we're all around the same age, right? Like in our 20s or whatever. But like, I think
I
20s, definitely, right? We said 20s. Like back then, like that for sure. In that like early 2000s time, it was like what was so different than now. Like back then was like you wanted to be so thin. Like that's what was like healthy, not even just trendy, but like healthy. Like you wanted your hip bones to show, right? Like girls were getting tattoos on their hip bones. Hips, You wear low-rise jeans, like all of that stuff. And it's so different now, where it's like all different types of bodies are accepted and stuff, but back then it wasn't that. It was like that was the only like that's what everyone should be. So
but on that note, it's crazy too, because I had super thin friends, and they would get made fun of for being so thin. So I'm like, okay, well, what's the point?
Like,
what do you want?
There's no ideal.
There is no ideal, and that's what's wild about it, is because I grew up around like that, and they would be made fun of because they were too thin, because their breasts maybe were too small, or whatever, and they would cry, and I'm just like, oh, so like what is the point then? Like there is no ideal body in that case, which is wild. And I think with that, it's like because of that, we went through so much as like a younger, when you're young, you go through, I think you're discovering your body, you're discovering who you are, your skin, and you're constantly growing. Like, I feel like your body doesn't even really reach the peak until like after high school, where you can feel like, oh, okay, I'm in my body. Like, I know my body, I know what I like, I know what I don't like. And so it's really hard, I guess, at a young age when you're developing your self-esteem. And you have to be you're constantly around people who are also developing that. And it's really hard. And I think looking back, it's so funny looking back at pictures now in my age, and I see that girl. And I'm like, what was she worried about? She's so cute. Like, look at her little skirt, or like her little shorts. Like, she's cute. Like, why? What was the big fuss about? Like, and so I see you see pictures like, oh, if I knew what I look like now, like what would I tell her? She was so thin, like she was so skinny, like she was so cute. I want you guys to talk about that. How would you offer guidance to that little girl, or that girl in those pictures, now that you know what you know now? And I'm not saying we know everything, because we're still growing, and I feel like our bodies are still growing. But what kind of guidance and advice would you give her, your younger self?
On that same note, I mean, I feel like I would just say, like, be a kid. Like, I feel like this whole idea of everything we're talking about getting absorbed from like, I mean, now there's media, obviously, like maybe this wasn't so bad back in the day, but with all of the ads we see and the videos and like, you know, the magazines and the Victoria's Secret fashion shows, and like, you just absorb all this as a kid because you are a sponge. Yeah. And I feel like I absorbed like all the wrong things, and I was filled with like, when I should have been worried about like playing tag or like tetherball or like hanging out with my friends or enjoying like a piece of cake at my friend's birthday party because it's a birthday party, like not having to like sit there and basically develop this super negative relationship with food and like wonder what other people perceive me, even though they're not thinking about that. But as a kid, you know, you do have this very like you know, it's my world type thing. You're not, you know, fully evolved mentally yet. So you're thinking that people are like watching you, and so then you're thinking, how is my body being perceived? And like, I feel like that robs you of part of your childhood and your innocence. And so I feel like I would just tell my younger self, maybe she'd understand it, maybe she wouldn't, hopefully she would, but like to spend more time being a kid and not worrying about your body because you're 6 years old, you're 7, you're 8, you're, you know, 11, 13, 15. You're not going to look like this for the majority of your life. You know, you're only a kid for so long, and you have an adult body a lot longer than you have like a child's body. And so even if you were someone who was so cognizant as a child of your body, no matter what you did, it's going to change, especially being a woman as you get older, without like your permission at all, or no matter what you do, you know, like hips or any like going through puberty or whatever it may be. So I feel like, you know, I wish I could bestow that wisdom on my younger self. And I still do try to heal my inner child with that, and just kind of be like, you know, obviously I can't get the time back, but I feel like I could maybe go back on memories and be like, let's, instead of at these birthday parties or whatever it may be, like how much fun did we have? You know, like let's focus on the fact that you were a kid, or that you should have been a kid and should have not been so worried about your body. Yeah. Because that's like an adult thing, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
I think just like you said, like when you're a kid, when you're, I don't know, preteen, preteen, like your body's gonna do what it's gonna do, right? Like a lot of kids go through different growth spurts. Like maybe they're a little bit shorter and maybe a little bit wider, and then they're gonna grow a few inches and, you know, look a little bit slimmer. Like their body's just gonna keep changing. They're growing. And I think to that, like it's hard to say like what would we say, right? Because I think like a lot of what I heard you guys say is a lot of that stuff that we knew or that we thought we knew was like external factors, right? Like we heard it from our moms or from whoever it was. So I think it's more like for my kids, like it's like, what are the conversations I'm having around them, right? What am I saying? What am I not saying? What do the younger kids or the teens or whatever, what do they hear us say? What do we post about? Like if we see somebody maybe a little bit thinner or whatever it is, or let's say you see a friend, right? She's lost a lot of weight. Are we walking up to them and being like, girl, you look good? Right? Like, what does that mean? Like, did she not look good before? Or does she look good because she's lost weight? I think it's more like, what example can we set now? Because back then, I think it was like a lot of external factors that contributed to that.
That's good.
That's true. That's really good.
Yeah. Literally, that's what I was thinking too. Yeah. Because I was having a hard time, like, I think going back to the first question, maybe it was not so much about like weight or things that had to do with like the way I looked. It was more for like, for example, like shaving my legs or like wearing high heels or things like that did not correspond to me at the time. But since I was living like with older sisters, I wanted to like do the same. Or like if we went to a party, this is like when I'm 11, 12, they were wearing their like nice dresses and heels, and I didn't want to go with my flats, and I'm like, no, I wish, like I just like want to feel included. So I think I would tell my younger self, like, don't worry. Like yesterday, I had the worst time, not the worst time, but I was wearing these high heels that like literally my feet still hurt from wearing them last night.
So like, I wish I would have worn flats.
So tell that younger self to like, don't worry, because I'll have
comfort is cool.
One day you're gonna love
it. Like your time will come. You don't have to worry about shaving your legs, because the first time I shaved my legs was like I hid it like from my mom. I just
same
did it on my own.
Yeah.
And then I was walking up the stairs. She was walking behind me and she was like, did you shave your legs? And I'm like, maybe. You can shave your legs for a lifetime. Like, no. I would just tell myself just to wait, hold on, like, you're a kid. And I was also thinking about what is it that I'm talking about, or what comments am I saying out loud, and how is it gonna affect the other person? So like, for example, I don't know, just like, I know I have a lot of friends that deal with body image issues still, and I'm very like aware of that. So I'm never gonna be like, oh, I feel bloated, or I like something about me, like talking to myself negatively. I will just like keep it to myself, because then I don't want to I don't want to make others feel, or kind of like, okay, if she's feeling that way, then
maybe I should.
So just be very careful about any comments that I say,
and that's also so hard.
Be intentional. It is hard.
I don't know, I was gonna go off guard, but it has a lot to do also with like my job. I'm a fitness instructor as well.
Oh yeah, tell us about that.
I'm a fitness instructor, so I feel like many people look up to me or come up to me whenever they're like struggling with a diet, or like they're trying to make changes for themselves, and I will never focus on that. Like if they come up to me, I'm like, okay, just be happy because you're here, because you're alive, because you get to move your body. And like,
it's not everyone gets that.
Don't worry about, like, everything will come. I don't know, just like love yourself. Like obviously there's a lot of work behind that, but just try to like make positive and positive comments, and not just like
it is that first I mean, it is that step. Like I feel like we didn't wake up one day and be like, oh, we love ourselves. I feel like every day is kind of like a struggle, and like
it takes
kind of like a practice. And those human words, like, because even sometimes, like Carrie was saying, is just like you watch what you say, and so sometimes it's human to be like, girl, you look good, but then like that girl could go home and be like, well, did I not look good before? Like, it
or
is
I look good now that I've lost weight.
Or like does that validate me as a person? And that's hard, because for me, I do stumble saying that, because like I want them to feel their best, and like feel like I see them and I appreciate them. But I guess like you never know what people are going through.
I saw a post one time, which I still try to like think about, but sometimes when you're just mentally spiraling with body image, it's hard. But it basically said like the same body that you talk down to or think badly about is the same body that allows you to experience the world, and all of your favorite people, and all of your favorite lavender lattes, and all of your favorite movies. And like, it's the same body that, your heart is beating in, and that other people would love to have, and that you get to like, just live in. Like, it does so much for you. And I get it. Like, even, like I said, when I'm spiraling mentally, it's like, okay, haha, hee hee, but like, I still don't feel great. You know what I mean? But I do have to like honor the fact that my body does all of that for me. And like, I'm sitting here telling it that it's ugly or doesn't look good, or like, why does it do this? Especially with my autoimmune, like basically it fights against itself, like angry at that. But then I'm like, but this is also the body that I get to like pick up my nephew with,
exactly. And like there's so much good
talk
that comes
to my
out.
Like, it's the body that has the mouth that I get to have conversations with my dad about, or like it's the body that I get to like be here, and like it's keeping me alive. I get to like experience fun things, I get to sing, I get to play music, and it's the body that does all of those amazing things. But then I'm so worried as I look in the mirror every morning about how it doesn't or does look, or what it isn't or isn't doing. And it's just like I just thought that was, it's definitely, it takes a lot of time to like shift your mindset, but those little reminders and that corrective, like as I think that my reaction time of like spiraling is not as long anymore. So where it used to just be doom of me just spiraling for days or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Now I try to remind myself, and it's kind of a little bit about like gratitude for the body that you have, but also it just kind of pulls you out of there and you're able to hold both. You know, you never want to be like, don't feel that way. Don't, because it's real. Like we feel this way, you know, and suppressing that is not beneficial or helpful. But it really does allow you to honor yourself as you feel maybe not so great. And then to remind yourself, you can also feel a whole spectrum of things, and your body is the vessel that allows you to do that.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And I feel like in this time we were talking about, you know, how society has totally shifted and changed. And I feel like in this conversation, I want to ask this question: is how do you believe today, like society and culture has affected like women's bodies and their image? Like, how does society play a role in that? What in today, like culture? Do you feel like it affects maybe your image or the way you see yourself?
I think I have a lot to say about it, but I'll keep it real quick. Yes, period.
We can move on to the next question.
I'll keep it brief because we all know I can talk a lot. But I think what I find super interesting, more so in like the fitness realm, because I enjoy like lifting and working out, and I guess it's more of a societal thing as well, is like we were talking about earlier, our childhoods and our young adulthoods were kind of saturated by this image of what we should look like, the Victoria's Secret fashion shows and the hip bones. And like, even in school, kids would come up and they would wrap their like middle finger to their their thumb and be like, if I can't touch both, then basically you're fat, essentially, which is like
why did that matter?
We believed that. I'm like, the size of my wrist means I'm fat. Like, it's wild. But like, from that world to now, there's this more like, and I'm going to use the word really loosely because I don't really know how I feel about it yet, but acceptance of like bigger bodies, which is amazing if it really truly is acceptance. But I feel like sometimes it's more of like what the media says is okay. Is kind of what the acceptance is, you know? And it's a certain kind of body. So I feel like we're getting better, but it's like curvy. But like still a flat stomach. You know what I mean? Like, and there are obviously spaces and areas depending on like who you follow on social media and who you surround yourself with where that may not be the case. But I feel like now, and to just be very like candid, I have like thicker thighs, like larger thighs. That was like, I never wore shorts. Now I always wear shorts, and partially the work within myself has allowed me to like do that. But I'm not going to lie, I've been heavily influenced by what society allows, because before it was not okay if your thighs touched. Like, where's your thigh gap, essentially? And if you don't have one, you can go ahead and put pants on, you know? But now it's like, oh, thick thighs, and like, and so society kind of accepts it more, which is great. But I feel like it's shifting kind of.
It's like limited, like to certain,
exactly. It's not just like, we love all. It's like, but you have to kind of have like, the, you know, I don't need to describe it. We all know, like, the, you know, the body type I'm talking about, but it's getting better. But I think a lot of it has to do, as much as I love certain reality TV shows as a guilty pleasure, I feel like reality TV has a huge influence on the bodies that we accept or are okay with, because those are the images that get pumped into our, you know,
on a daily,
our brains. And so it's okay, I guess, now, but I do definitely think, especially like in the fitness world, I experience, at least myself, a lot more acceptance, or even people embracing women who are strong. Whereas I feel like it was always like, I want to be skinny, I don't care about the muscle. But now I'm like, no, like I want to look and feel strong. So maybe I do have thick thighs, but I could like maybe crush a watermelon with them, and that's cool. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I can't, but like that idea. Like, whereas before, I was like, I'm doing it right now.
Let's see.
The watermelon. Whereas before it was like, what do I have to do? Just show me the exercises to get my legs to be as thin as they possibly can. Now I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, let's go squat. Like, I want big quads and big, thighs.
Yeah.
So
Let's do it.
But yeah, I said I wasn't going to talk a lot, but here we are.
Here we are. That's fine. We love it.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Like, I think it's definitely like moved in the right direction, right? Like, I think there's definitely a lot more acceptance, and different types of bodies are being talked about and represented, like, to a degree, right? But I think it gets like a little bit confusing where it's like, we talk, or you'll see a lot about body positivity now, right? Yeah. With the different types of bodies and things. But then you also hear like, okay, you should love yourself, right? But it doesn't mean like you can't feel like you can't change something about yourself, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're like, okay, my thighs, maybe I'm insecure about my thighs, right? Okay, but I shouldn't change my thighs because it's fine. But maybe it is something you want to change, and it is okay, right? But like, how do you love yourself through like those elevations and know that like what I have is fine, and maybe I do want to change it, but like what does that like sound like in your head, and like what do those changes feel like and sound like, and how are they talked about? Yeah. Because it gets confusing that it's like, no, love yourself exactly how you are. Mm-hmm. You don't have to change, but that doesn't mean there's not something you want to change. Yep. And it's okay to want to change something. It's just like we shouldn't be like tearing ourselves apart about the one thing we want to change, or like not wearing an outfit because of, the bottom of our stomach, or like whatever it is, right? Like you have to, it gets confusing because it's like, where do you sit within that line? Mm-hmm. So I think it's a lot of like self-reflection. Like if I don't like my upper arms, like why don't I like them? Like what's the problem here? What is it that I'm not liking? Because I think sometimes it's like people feel embarrassed about a certain part of their body or whatever it is, but it's like, the truth is like, if I wear a muscle tee, like I have larger upper arms, and sometimes I'm like, dang, like these arms like look big. Like, who cares if they look big, first of all? And second of all, do I think like I'm gonna see my friends and my friends are like, dang, your arms look big? They're not. No. They probably didn't even bat an eye or even think about my arms. But a lot of times we feel like those things we want to change are like something other people are gonna notice, and they're just not. Yeah. So I think it's kind of like you have to find, yes, there's a lot of good evolving like commentary and ideas and acceptance about different types of bodies right now, but like it's okay to know where you stand with your body and what you want to work on.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love that.
What I have to say kind of
lost it for a second.
She's like, yes. All those things.
Let me look at my list.
Retweet. No, I feel like obviously what you guys mentioned, I can like double on it. But yeah, it's obvious that we're influenced by everyone. And like it's so easy for us to be influenced nowadays more because it's right here, and like we have a whole buffet or like a menu of what we can, we have so much access to a bunch of stuff. But I think that's also a good thing because we get to pick who we're following, what we're watching, and now that it's like that body image and empowerment is like very big right now, and like it's like we're in a transition that also allows ourselves to now we're aware of it, and so we get to pick what
you let influence you.
So I feel like you just have to be, it's very hard maybe for a lot of people like to not be influenced by the perfect model or like still stores and like their posters, which I also know that stores are also getting more inclusive. But it's like a lot of inner work. Like I don't know, it's so much that I could say.
It definitely
but
is.
I would say that we get people were influenced definitely even like by music. I'm a big reggaeton fan, but those lyrics are disgusting. And sometimes I'm like, what am I listening to? Like, would I like a guy to like talk to me like this? Absolutely not. So it's just like we have the decision to like
You have like the power of what you let influence you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like one of the biggest things that I changed, because it's just a matter of like little things. I feel like there's not like this one, like you wake up one day and your whole mindset has shifted,
right?
You know, and you've evolved or whatever. But I think one of the biggest things that helped me on social media is I stopped following people who didn't look like me in terms of like fitness, obviously. I mean, beautiful women, of course, and started following people who have my body type doing fitness. So like, or whatever it may be. If I'm following someone for fitness and health content, I'm not going to follow someone, like I could, if I like the page maybe, but I'm not going to like look at their body and be like, okay, so if I make like if I make this salad for X amount of months, like I'll look like, I'll never look like that. You know what I mean? Like, cause that's them. But following people that look like me and have the same body type as me, maybe not look like me, but have the same body type where I'm like, okay, that's what I want. Cause I was following, you know, women who obviously knew a lot about fitness and were very educated and very trained up and beautiful women, strong women. But we have different body types. They were very just naturally like thinner and more lean. And I mean, you could pull a workout from them and I could probably do it and it would be a workout. But then it's like, okay, but it's discouraging, you know? Exactly. And so it was like, unfortunately I have to unfollow, you know? And then, and I realized like
silent them.
Exactly. On mute. Unfortunately, like I was like, that's, you know, but what I realized is that I went from wanting a body that had a pound amount to wanting what I like, more of like my dream body is more of like a look. So before I was like, I have to get down to like 115 pounds, like, or I have to get down to 125 or like whatever, you know, cause I'm taller, but like, no, I realized that at least when I look at other women, my height and my body type, oh, there are like these strong, beautiful women that I look at their bodies that are like, you know, muscle and fat as well, because they're women, that are sitting at like 175, 180. And I'm like, there is no way, because I've always been like programmed to believe that 180 is obese or whatever, you know, it may be. But I'm like, no, like I would like love that body. And then I'd see them put like their stats up and they're like 5'8", 180. And I'm like,
have you guys ever seen
this
that
is reasonable.
chart? Have you ever seen that chart of women and it's like, I don't know, 10, 15 women and they're all the same weight?
Yeah, like body
and
composition.
They're all different, like, and they all look completely different.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought
what we
about
need to
when
see
you
as
said
kids.
that. Yeah.
Like as kids, I needed to see that.
That's a huge mind shift about the because like I remember, like you were saying about the diets, like I grew up in a home where there was always someone who was dieting, and I did the low carb, I did like the South Beach or whatever it was called,
Atkins,
Atkins, like all the diets, and you're just like looking at the number, but when you really take your eyes off the number, it's like, no, there's other things are it's not just weight, there's other things into play, there's muscle, there's all these things, and you don't know that, you're not I wasn't educated about that at all. So you look at that, and what's wild is that in this time of like the filter and like you know, miracle products that like you can take and for your skin and for weight, and like Ozempic is like a big old thing right now, and just like all these like procedures and things you can do. When you think about the most gorgeous woman you follow on Instagram, whether she's famous or not, or she's an influencer or whatever, what's wild is that she wakes up and she doesn't like something about her body. Guarantee you, the most beautiful woman, she still has something negative to say about her body, which is wild that we look at these women and we're just like, we want to be them, or I would kill for that body. But the statistic is that 92% of girls don't like one thing about their body, and I even struggle with 92%. I feel like it's more. Right.
I agree.
And so to think about that is like, wow, that's wild. That like, we all struggle with it. We all go through it. We all, you know, battle it, and it is a daily thing that we have to deal with and we have to struggle with. And I feel like all these things that we're saying is like, you can't truly love yourself if you're trying to please others. And I've come to that conclusion, like, yeah, there's always going to be an opinion and someone's always going to say something, or there's going to be a new trend and maybe we can't attain that.
Yeah.
Our body doesn't allow a thigh gap or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And there's going to be so many things happening and so many opinions and so many factors, but we can't love ourselves truly until we block all that out.
Yeah.
And so in this social media era, like, I want to know, what are some positive images that who are you turning to right now where you're like, I love them, like this is my person that I like look to, or she's very positive, or I want to, maybe it's not body, maybe it's like mentally, or just...
There's this girl on TikTok and Instagram, because I'm so young.
We love a good TikTok.
I don't know her handle. Oh God, it's on my phone.
What are some of her videos she does?
Well, her name is Tori. So I'm pretty sure if you just like go on TikTok and you search up Tori, it's like maybe with 2 eyes or something. Anyway, she'll come up.
I love her. She just had a baby, right?
I believe she has dark hair.
Yes.
I don't really know much about her life because I'm only on there for like fit inspo, but she has really dark, like beautiful, like long hair. And she is very candid and blatant about like, yeah, it's my stomach. Like, I've had kids, you know, and we're not going to hide it. You know what I mean? Like, this is not like a page where, how can we hide my apron belly? Or like, you know, and it's not about like, how can I accentuate it? But it's like outfits that make you feel comfortable. Because I feel like having like a larger body, street style, sometimes just isn't the vibe, because I wear something baggy and I look like I don't have a closet full of clothes. Like I kind of just look like I went to Goodwill and put up a bunch of stuff and it's like wrong, like the wrong fit. So I just know this, and people are like, no, it's cute. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable in it because it's real baggy.
Yeah.
And when you have like a curvier body, at least myself, you want to accentuate like your waist and like parts of your, at least that's how I feel more comfortable, you know? And so she has a lot of cute outfits like that. And it isn't like, because there are a lot of TikToks and Instagram videos and reels that I see that are like, here's how to cover and conceal this, or like bodysuits to slim your arms, or like leggings that make you look 5 sizes smaller. And I've fallen for all of it. You know what I mean? Like,
like
been there, done that.
Amazon,
Also, they're in my car still. But I love her. She's like, she'll start off the video like just in like, you know, like basically her underwear, and she'll be like, yeah, here's my belly, and we're gonna wear cute clothes that people like on Pinterest wear. You know, and I'm here for it.
I love it.
I'm like, girl, I need your whole closet. Run me your closet.
I love that.
I don't think I have like a specific like name that I know, because to be honest, I'm like one of those moms put my kids to bed and then I'm like, babe, I'm going to bed, and I lay in bed and scroll on TikTok. But like I'll see like one mom or something doing something similar, and then, you know, on the For You page like more and more pop up. So I think like I definitely like to look through that stuff where they are like, okay, here's my body. Even just like, like when they're in their underwear and they're like, this is my stomach, and I'm like, dang, that's my stomach too, actually. You know, and just like I think seeing people who are real about their bodies like that, and then doing that with yourself, like in the morning, like when you get dressed, like how often do you like, I don't even want to look, right? Or how often can you just be like, okay, like maybe that's what we practice, right? Okay, well, this is my stomach, here it is, right? Like I'm gonna put clothes on it just like everyone else does, you know, and I'm gonna put on something that makes me look good, makes me feel good, those types of things. So I don't know that I have like a specific go-to, but if I see something I like, I'll follow them, or, you know, hopefully more of that like comes onto my For You. But like, I think just like, like maybe myself, like practicing those with myself and being like, okay, these are my arms, and they're my arms and they work, and this is what I have, and, you know, I can still dress them and I can still feel good. So I think, a little bit of both, myself and social media.
I love that. I feel like I follow a lot of fitness instructors just because going back, like that's where I get a lot of inspo, but I am very careful on who I follow, because I don't know, I bumped into some pages that are like very still like motivating, not the way that I like to motivate. So I just said, just think that you're alive and that you get to move your body, and some people are still like, hey, let's like
like, here's how to lose 5 pounds in a month.
Or like, let's burn that burger that we ate last night or something. Things like that. That I do not correlate with. So I'm just very careful on like what their type is. And yeah, I feel like many of my instructor friends are very like the same way I am.
Yeah.
Positive vibes.
All
the positive vibes.
I follow them. There's this Mexican coach, like spin instructor, that I really like. Her name is Anabel Soto, and she's like very like into, like, I look up a lot to her, because of how she motivates and inspires others. So yeah,
nice.
Just people that like
they're like-minded.
Yeah. You always have to like feel. I feel like if you feel good watching their videos, then that's good. You don't want to like, oh man, double think and double take about like something, your body. And I love Tracy Ellis Ross. I just love something about her. She's an older woman, and she just like, I love to see aging women just in their own skin loving their body. Like I think that's like the coolest thing ever, and it's something that I definitely want to attain and become, and just to love your body in every stage. And the other day she posted something like some tool for cellulite, and she was just like hiked up her dress and was like doing this thing and had her sheet mask on, and I was like, that is so cool real. And so like I literally want to be those goals. Like I really want to be that. And so there's so many people I like to follow, like women like that who are just real and like don't care. They're just like in their sheet mask or like eating or whatever. Also, I feel like you need to surround yourself on a daily basis too, not just on your social media, but on a daily basis. Who are you hanging with? And we talked about this the last episode about like your friends and who the company that you keep. And I feel like I remember something that really stuck with me was with Carrie. Carrie had just had her first baby, and I remember also we kind of had the same. Well, we have similar age kids, and I remember just struggling with my mom body. Like my body, I had known my body for so long to be this thing, and then after having a kid and having 2 C-sections, it was like my body changed. It definitely did change, and I have a C-section mark and all the things. And I remember just like being in this weird place where it's like, how do I love this body now? Like it's so different. And I remember Carrie posting one time, I don't know if it was with your first kid or your second kid.
I think it was my first, with all my stretch marks.
So she was so brave. She posted a post of her stretch marks. And I was like, dang girl, that's my friend. Like, I love that. I feel like she just was like, hey, this is me. And like, I love my body. And I remember seeing that and be like, I can do it. Like, if she can do it, I can do it. So it's really important who you surround yourself with. It's like, or the people you surround yourself with, because it's like, they are your hype people. They're your people who love you and see you. And they also, when maybe you're down, they can lift you up and they can be like, hey, you can love your body. So I love that. I'm all about that. So now talking about that, I mean, what are some new self-care or maybe something that you guys do on a daily basis now, knowing what you know, and you're like, I have to do this every day just so that way I can see my body image in a positive light. Like these are some tips that I do on a daily basis or something I put into practice.
Something I don't do is weigh myself every single morning.
Nice. I love that.
I used to. That's good. So there are times where I still kind of maybe struggle with that. But I'm like, okay, wait. I have to, it's all about like this corrective experience, like correcting my mind. Like, at some point, yes, like, you know, your weight for, you know, medical reasons, whatever. But I'm just talking like every day. Like, like I'll eat something. I mean, gosh, depending on the time of day, because I have like a thyroid thing, like gluten's not very good for me. So I'll eat a piece of bread and I'm 2 pounds heavier technically the next day, but it's not fat. But when I was weighing myself every day, I didn't have the knowledge of that. So I was like, great, now it's 2 pounds of fat. I had 1 piece of toast. You know what I mean? Like
what could that even do?
Fat, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's inflammation or it's like water retention or whatever it might be for my thyroid. But like weighing myself every day put me in like the worst mental prison of all time, and very much like basically kind of dug me into an eating disorder for the majority of my life. And so, but it was always this like, okay, I wake up the next morning, I weigh myself, I'm heavier, now I'm not going to eat.
Wow.
Now I'm just going to basically punish myself essentially. But my mind is telling myself, well, no, like you don't need to eat because you just gained 2 pounds. So like you're going to restrict all day, and then you're going to get really, really hungry.
Yeah.
And then you're going to eat a bunch of food, and the next day you're going to wake up and you're going to be a pound heavier, and now you're not going to eat. So it was like, So that scale, man, I mean, holy cow. I'm friends with a lot of bodybuilders, and so I understand that there are like certain things that someone might be doing, like if they are bodybuilding or if they're doing like some kind of like, you know, health or weight loss thing where maybe that's part of it for a little while, where you do want to track that, and like certain foods you eat in a day, if you eat like a really good, you know, diet that day, and diet not as in like fad diet, but food wise, maybe you could see how your body reacts the next day, because like gluten or certain intolerances. Other than that, that scale can't be out. Like, or I will step on it. I don't care where I am.
That is a really good
put
practice.
it out of the way, out of your mind. Like, don't look at it, don't see it, because it's like, you really think you gained like 3 pounds in one day? Like, and if you did, like in water and whatever it is, like,
That's,
you know what I mean? Like,
real.
you have to eat. And you have to, you know, my time of the month, like any given day, I'm going to be 5 pounds heavier. Like, it's just there. And you know, sometimes it's like, dang, 5 pounds, where'd that come from? And next week it's gone or whatever. But you're right. Like, why, like, what's the point of like weighing ourselves every day? What are we looking for? Like, what are we trying to do? Like, let's say I am 5 pounds more. Okay.
You're like, what am I going to do about it right now?
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, it's like the body composition thing earlier, like the chart of all the women's bodies. It's like, I learned so much about body recomposition, you know, in the last 2 years, like going to the like bodybuilder gym I go to and lifting heavier, where it's like, oh, so like back when I was maybe the weight that I am now or whatever it may be, I looked way different when I was not lifting than I do now.
Yeah.
But having to like remind myself of like, the number doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, if you are 175, but you don't work out at all ever, and you don't eat healthy food and you don't drink water, you're going to look way different and probably feel a lot worse than if you are 175 or 1 whatever or 2 whatever, and you're eating a healthier diet with like higher protein and vegetables and still enjoying like fun meals, you know, and drinking your water and working out. Your body is going to feel and also look like way different. But the number's still the same, if not more. Like, you could be even heavier and look thinner or look smaller because you have more muscle and your body is healthier. So that scale is very, and half the time it's not even calibrated correctly. You know what I mean?
Like taunting. It's like sitting there and it's so
what
like,
is
I
weight?
It's
a construct.
Let's just get rid of that. What do you guys do?
Like, okay, I guess not like a daily, or maybe it is, I don't know. But when I am either buying clothes or putting on clothes at home, if it doesn't look good on me right now, or it accentuates a part of my body I don't like, or it just doesn't fit me anymore, it's gone. Not in the closet till later, till I lose weight and love it. It's gone, out of my house. I don't want it. If I'm trying on clothes and it doesn't, and it fits me, but I'm like, this is gonna look great with Spanx, I'm not buying it. It's not coming home with me. If I'm like putting on jeans that are tight, right? And I'm like, dang, these are tight. Like, let me try to lose a few pounds. They're my favorite jeans. No, they're gone, right? If I don't feel good in it right now, if it doesn't fit me right now, I get rid of it. It's gone. I don't buy it. And I feel like it's helped me, like, you know, when you're in the closet and you feel like nothing fits and you're like, dude, I don't even want to get ready. Like, I feel like filtering through that stuff is like, okay, I feel good about anything I'm going to choose. Anything I choose is going to fit me. I'm going to feel good in it. I'm going to look good in it. So that's what I've been practicing. And I feel like it really helps.
That's really good. I love that. Andrea.
What I do for, what is it? Daily.
Like daily self-care, daily like, practice, or daily self-care that like just helps you feel good.
Okay, I think what my self-care looks like is working out. But yesterday I was realizing something that I was like, wow, like I'm really, I don't want to say I'm on another level, but like I think I realized
that I am. No.
Built different.
No, but I think I like discovered like the beauty of working out. Like, it's the ability to move. I think I sound like a broken record machine because I've repeated it so many times. But like, the ability to get to move your body, and like sometimes, you know, we've heard this phrase like mind-body connection when we're working out, and it's like, okay, like half of the people still don't get it. And now I think like, wow, I'm really like moving, and I'm like aware of like my body parts, and like I'm aware of that I have to breathe. that I get to do this because my body's functioning the way it's supposed to function. So working out definitely is part of my self-care. And also feeding myself. Having those 5 or like 3 meals a day. And like snacking in between. Because I'm going through like a depression episode season. Not like right now I feel very well and I'm getting out of it. But before, like, I wouldn't eat because I would forget, or like, and then during that time I lost a lot of weight, and people that in the gym that I teach in, they would be like, oh my god, you look so good, or like you've lost a lot of weight. What you've been doing? Like, I need to keep coming to your class.
Like, congratulations, kind of thing. Yeah.
And I'm like, if you only knew, like, what I'm going through right now, like, you don't want to lose weight. You don't want to. So, like feeding myself, reminding myself that I need to eat, and eat anything. Like, as long as there's food in my belly, like.
Well, think about like when you guys skip meals during the day, like, aren't you grumpy? Sometimes I'm like work all day long, and then I get home and like the kids are screaming and my husband's like talking, and I'm like, oh my god, this is too much. And it's like, dang, I haven't eaten or drank any water today. All I've had is coffee. And it's like, you do have to eat. Or even the working out, you know, they say like it helps anxiety or helps depression. Like, it just helps release that stuff. So I can totally see that.
Definitely. It does help, and it's something you need for sure. And I think knowing to your body, like knowing what helps you, like what you can eat, because like I feel like sometimes like we're just like, okay, and then just knowing those things and like what time and when, and your body will tell you. And I love that. I think for me recently I went to a spin class, and we were spinning, and it's always like super high energy and like always like go. And one instructor, she took a moment and she just kind of like, she was like, okay, this is your song. Like, you go at the speed you want and like figure it out. So I was there and I was like going the speed I want. And it was just such a moment where I'm like, okay, like I was thinking, I was like feeling all the feels like in that moment. And then she asked, she was like, okay, I'm going to just ask a few of you to finish this statement, I am. And like we would have to finish what we are. And majority, like pretty much everybody was like, I think I am strong, or I feel I am beautiful. No one could say I am strong. I am beautiful. None of us. Like filler words. She asked like maybe 6 or 7 people, and it was always like, I feel like I am. No one was confident in it. And I feel like that alone, maybe waking up in the day and be like, what are you? I am strong. I am beautiful. Looking at yourself in the mirror and being like, I am these things. And feeling confident about that. Because, you go throughout the day and things are added to you and people say things, and you knowing in your core what you are, maybe it's 5 things or 6 things that you can recite with confidence that you are, I feel is super important. To know who you are and know that. And speaking about that, we hear it all the time about like, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? Like, and I see that phrase and I'm like, okay, but we behold ourselves every day in the mirror. Like, we look at ourselves every day. So like, let's behold that beauty. I feel like let's see that beauty in ourselves every single day, and let's behold that beauty. And I think that's super important on a daily basis. Like, just say something to yourself, positive.
I love affirmations now, but like, I'm not gonna lie, like for a minute there when they got real popular in the last few years, maybe because people just posted about them, I was like, this is so corny and like it feels uncomfortable. But then I was like, wait, I've been telling myself, I don't know if affirmation by definition is supposed to be positive, but I've been telling myself statements in the mirror since I was 6 or 7 years old. And so at first I was like, oh, these positive affirmations, like I'm not gonna believe that. Like I'm sitting here like reciting like a pledge of allegiance to myself, basically. Like that's so corny. Okay, but I've been doing that negatively for X amount of years, and I believe everything now. Like I believe like I am, you know, whatever it may be, like I am overweight, or I am this, or I am ugly today, or I am, you know, tired looking, or my hair is this, my body is that. So if you just, you know, like it got less corny to me when I was like, wait, I've been telling myself affirmations or negative statements. I am something negative for 20 years.
Yeah.
And like, I believed it
And
basically like when I was like, you know, a few months after starting to believe those things, I believed all of them and it's never left my mind. Yeah. So I'm like, if I could just do positive affirmations for X amount of days, like, will I start to believe it? And I know it's more than that. I know there's like society and like our family members might say comments that like reinstill like, oh yeah, but I do also hear like compliments from people. And why is it that I only latch onto the negative things someone might say, but I can hear a million positive things? It's because I believe. I'm looking almost like subconsciously. If I believe that I am fill in the blank with something negative, then I'm searching for that, like for someone to fulfill that prophecy I have against, you know, myself. So if I switch that and I can say, I am beautiful, I am this, then maybe I can latch onto the compliments I get more and believe that. It's hard.
It is hard. But yeah, you know, it takes that.
The logic goes both ways, you know.
And just knowing those few things about yourself, it does help because then you're feeding that. Like you said, you're feeding that to yourself on a daily basis. And
have you guys seen there's a trending, there was a trending video of a little girl like saying affirmations to herself in the mirror.
So cute.
Yeah, and it's like the mom does it like every day.
So
and
cute.
right now when we were talking about what would I do like back then, I think that's something that I would love to like incorporate to my kids. So empowering.
I love that. And it's if you do it every day, you learn it. It's a practice. It's something that I love that. And I feel like here at Girlfriend Club, we always like to end the podcast with like something we're grateful for. Like we believe that gratitude is the right attitude, and we love to just be grateful for things. And I feel like on the topic of body image, I want to quickly go around and just say something, a body part. Our body goes through ups and downs. It gets talked about negatively, positively on a daily basis. And some of our body parts have gone through some things. Like I think about some of my body parts. I'm like, you've gone through some things and you're still standing. You're amazing. So quickly, I want to go around a body part that you're just thankful for. And maybe this is like a leap of faith because like maybe you've been saying negative things about it, but now is your time to say something positive about it and something you're thankful about it. So
I think about like what you're saying, right? Like when you're like, I'm working out and I'm so thankful, like I could work out and my body works. Like I think maybe like I was saying earlier, like my legs, I'm kind of in that same position where I'm like, oh my God, my thighs are like, they're thick. Like I don't want to wear shorts, but like you think about like your legs get you from point A to point B. Like think about if I didn't have them or you know what I mean? So I would say my legs, right? Like we're using them to work out. We're getting from place A to place B. I get to like play with my kids or do whatever it is. And you know, like maybe they're not the shape I want them to be, but they're there and they work and I love them.
No. Yes, we love the legs.
Andrea? I just love my body.
She's like, I love everything.
I love you.
I was gonna say something, but it's not really a body part, but it's like my heartbeat.
I love that.
Because I always say like it's my heartbeat that has so much meaning. That means that I'm alive, that I'm here, that I was giving like another day, another second, another minute. Like we're not guaranteed any of that. So like the heartbeat and like the just breathing, like being able to like be here. But if I had to pick a body part, I would say my arms. I don't know, like lately I've been loving my arms. And I feel like they give me the strength to like do a lot of things and like drive with them, work with them.
The things we take for granted.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I love that.
Yes,
we're thankful for yours. Awesome.
That's good. Mine, it's a body part, but it's more of like what they do. So like my eyes. So like my ability to see. So a lot of times I just sometimes wish I was blind, you know, to certain things. Like when I wake up, I'm like, I wish I just didn't see my body like this. You know what I mean? Or like, I wish that my eyes didn't distort my body and give me body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
Or didn't immediately, that my eyes didn't see my body and hate it, you know, because they are the vessel that maybe they're not, you know, it's my brain that's telling me that, but my eyes are what's seeing that. And my eyes are what has seen, you know, all the stuff we talked about on social media. But like my eyes are also like, my sight is what allows me to like see like my friends smiling. And I get to see like beautiful parts of the world, and I get to see like my niece and nephew, and like just experience people, you know. And it's one of like my favorite things. But like I said, it's like this double-edged sword where I also have seen like a lot of stuff that I don't want to see. It's what I view my body with, and what causes me to talk poorly to myself. But I have to kind of maybe work on shifting, like seeing myself, using my sight not as a vessel to bully myself.
Right.
You know,
I love that. That's so good. Mine's my tummy. This girl has gone through some stuff. She has gone through a lot of diets in my earlier age. I wasn't so good to it. And having kids now, 2 kids, 2 C-sections, 2 emergency C-sections, she's just gone through some stuff. And she's gone through parasite too. I had a parasite for a long time. Yeah, this tummy. Yeah, she's seen her days, and she's come out super strong. And I feel like it takes a hit a lot. Like I feel like that's my area where I'm like, dang, I've been working out, but like, come on, girl, get with the program. But I love her. So I'm so excited for my tummy and where she looks like. I love her. So
and she's yours.
We love her.
We love her. I love her. I'm not crying, you're crying. Okay. But thank you guys so much. This was such a hard topic, but it's a much needed topic. And I feel like whoever's watching, I hope that you feel positive. I hope you feel beautiful, and know that we're all going through it together. We all have our issues here. We've all talked about it. But there's peace, and there's better things ahead for your body. And so thank you guys so much for chatting. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for sharing all these things. And thank you guys for joining us. You always have a girl at Girlfriend Club, and we're so excited that you stopped by and that you're joining us in this conversation, and we'll see you next time.